Hello, Stefan Hoffmeister here from the Adobe Experience Manager podcast at Access 41. This past May, Adobe came out with a new version of AEM, and I wanted to get into version 6.0 to show off a few different aspects. So today is going to be an in-depth look at all things tagging. We'll go over everything from creating a new tag, moving it, applying it to new media, and some other tips that I've found useful. But let's go ahead and start here on the AEM sign-in page. I'm using a local instance of AEM, so for me this is a fresh install. I won't have anything but the preloaded geometric content and the few examples that I made for this video. But let me type in my credentials and we can get going. Now we're brought to the new projects page on the new Touch UI. One way to get to the tagging page is to come over on the left under Tools, click on Operations, and then Tagging is third from the bottom. Click on it and it should bring us out of the Touch UI and back to the Classic. One thing to remember is that not everything is completely accessible and functional within the Touch UI, but Adobe has made a number of strides to continue to improve that. Here we can see the tag organization and a few of the tags that have been made previously. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to cover everything related to tags, so the first thing we need to do is create a new folder for all the tags we'll be coming up with. And this new folder is called a namespace. So with tags up here highlighted in green, mouse over this new button right here. Give that a click and a create a namespace box pops up. A namespace is a top level category. Basically it's what you and AEM use to find a grouping of tags specific to one part of the business. You can use them as tags themselves, but usually they'll be too broad to make sense as a single tag. Now the title here is what people will search for when trying to add a tag to a piece of content. It's what they'll see when they're authoring. The name, on the other hand, is a database entry for AEM. You can actually have multiple tags with the same title, but the names must all be different because those are the database IDs. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fill mine in, and we can keep going. Project 007. Now notice that the name won't allow any non-alphanumeric characters to be entered, so that means no spaces or symbols. It's best to always keep the name and title the same, in my opinion. That way it shows up in the tag ID correctly and is more recognizable for future use. But let's go ahead and create a tag to go in that folder. So after that's done, move over to the left, find the folder you just created, give that a click, and mouse up to that new button again. Now, the only difference, instead of it creating a namespace, you're creating an actual tag this time. But again, the title is what people will search for, and the name is for organization. So I'm going to go ahead and name mine Goldfinger. And click Create. There we are, tag. Now let's say that we accidentally created a tag in the wrong folder. That's where this move function will come in right here. Now in my example, the marketing folder's over here. I have a couple secondary level folders in it. In the print folder specifically, I accidentally created an other web ad. Now in order to move this tag, I'm going to select the print folder over here, like I have, and come over to the tag that I want to move. Give that a click and come up to the move button, and the move box will show up. But in order to do it correctly, you have to click on this magnifying glass because it'll change the relative path. It also helps by going back through the previous tags and updating their path to this current one. So once you've clicked on the magnifying glass, come over here. I want to move it to the online folder, so I give that a click and select OK. Now, before I hit move and finalize this, I have the option to change the name of this tag. But I don't need to change it because it's still specific to the content I'm going to be using it for. This is probably the most easiest and accessible way to change the name of a tag. Even if you don't want to move it, it's still the best way to change its name. Now one thing to remember about tags is that once you create a tag and use it on multiple pieces of content, it's not recommended that you delete it due to it being connected to content. Using the move function keeps all existing links and directs all searches to the most recent update while still allowing you to change its name. Now, adding tags to content and assets is a relatively simple thing to do. It might be different for everyone based on your individual implementation, but let me show you an example of how to add a tag to an asset within the DAM. So let's head over to the DAM and find an asset that needs a tag, like this one. Select it and then double click, as with all selectables within AEM, and it should bring up the asset information. Look to the third box down and you'll see tags right here. Now remember what I was saying about the title and name of a tag? The title is what you search for and the name is just for organization. So in this instance, let's search for the title that I just made. Now as you're typing in the title, AEM uses an autocomplete feature to find matches for the characters you've typed in. You can either hit enter when it pops up or you can select it. But once you've added all the amount of tags that you need to this asset, you have to hit the save button, which is located down here near the bottom. Hit that, and after the saving icon disappears, you can close out the window, hit yes, and continue on with the rest of the work that you have to do today. That's it for this video. If you have any questions or ideas for a future video, tweet us at Access41 or check out our AEM Showcase page on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.